do you miss that day-to-day camaraderie with the England lads and also Wasps, Saints? Is that what you miss the most about your playing days?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I think it's the people, you miss more than anything else. I can't run anymore, so I'd love to keep playing. My body, in great shape at the moment. I'm pretty fit, can't run. So the playing side, your mind plays tricks, but I couldn't ever go back and do it. So I miss the personalities and people. I think in 2016 was for everybody a pinnacle. I was so in the mode that I was thinking about, the game after. I've only ever watched the game back once, and yeah, I played well. What was different after it was everyone was really nice to me. Even the rugby commentators who normally knife me in the back, everyone was really nice. Fans who, I've always divided opinion, were nice, But then even though they were nice, like about time he fucking played, a good game after 77 caps or whatever. So it's just, I think moments like that I should have reflected on and made more of, and that was my biggest regret, is not celebrating the mini victories or the big moments, because you're always on to the next thing. I think for me, I miss the personalities of the game. Being around 40 lads, for 19 and a half seasons, you just live for the moment that someone comes in with a shit haircut, bad pair of shoes, something's happened, they've kissed an ugly girl or whatever it might be, just because for that moment, someone's going to come up with a genius nickname. And I spent 19 and a half seasons laughing, 100 times a day. They did a government study that if you laugh like 10 times a day, you're much more likely to live longer and have a more positive life. I would laugh my ass off the whole time. So when I retired, my friends and teammates were messaging my wife, because they assumed that, obviously, because I had no audience, no one to talk to, I was just going to get into her, like just banter her, going, look at what you're wearing, look at the state of those shoes, oh my God, fucking hell, brush your teeth, your breast stinks, look at that, whatever it might be. And but luckily I obviously wasn't like that.
Do you think that is rugby's downfall these days, that we're not getting to see the real side of the players and the coaches?
I think, look, it's the downfall of most professional sports. I think, the beauty of rugby was the accessibility of players. You go to a Premiership football game, you're lucky if a Premiership footballer spat on you because of, the popularity, the size of the game, the fact that, the fans are pretty diehard, and they kept themselves because, they'd just be mobbed. Rugby, you used to go to a bar after the game, you'd meet the players, you see the players, there'd be opportunities for autographs. There was that connection. And I think that that was our point of difference. And I think now with social media, that should be there, showcased to show people's personalities. The problem is, with professional sport, it comes down to winning games. And in professional sport, you have tall poppy syndrome. If you put your head above the parapet and you start playing badly, well, it's because you're interested in social media, because you're too busy talking a good game. You're too busy doing this. You're distracted, and everything's done out of fear. And it takes someone to be under pressure, like with Saracens, they used to go on an away trip every single season, and they'd always actually do it before they played Wasps, and that would be like they get dropped off in outskirts of Amsterdam in pairs and have to work their way through to town and meet up and get on the piss, and they'd be on the piss for 3 days, and then we would play them, and they'd always beat us, which was really disappointing, because my team talk as captain would be like, this lot, they don't give a fucking shit, they've been on the piss all week, they haven't trained, they don't care. But in their changing room, their team talk was, lads, we've had an unbelievable week. We haven't paid for anything. We've been to Amsterdam. We've had a party. We've enjoyed ourselves. We've bonded. If you want this to keep going, you better go and win. And funny enough, they always won. So, I think there is a bit of and they dealt with that pressure. And you probably had board members that would have turned around and Sarah said, this isn't really the image we want. Or, if they lost a game, well, it's because you're on the piss. But it's actually, it's the ability to stick to your convictions. And I think with social media in the game, having personalities, encouraging people, but also I think making the media more accountable would encourage people to have personalities. If you talk shit, write shit, fake news stuff, you should be held accountable.
And I actually spoke to Alex Payne the other day about this idea of, which I must admit, I feel like I suffer from a lot, even like now just talking to you, that idea of imposter syndrome. And it sort of plays into your rugby career as well, because I know you've mentioned a few times you didn't think you were necessarily the most gifted rugby player, but you were prepared to work harder than anybody else, probably influenced from the likes of Lawrence Delalio or Joe Worsley, as you mentioned. Did you feel that when you were playing, that idea of imposter syndrome?
I think, look, everybody I think has imposter syndrome. I think it's a very common thing. Otherwise that expression "fake it till you make it" wouldn't exist. I think, I think there is, for people who have out and out confidence, you know, they've probably got other underlying things that we don't have. You know, for those people who are quite don't lack the confidence in themselves. You know, I had to see a sports psychologist from the age of 17 to 35 to address my confidence issues around my performance, around my game. And, you know, that's followed me into every area of my life. You know, I do a DJ gig. My first thought is negativity is mistakes. You know, I do an after dinner speech, you know, I concentrate on the errors I made, or, you know, could it have been better? And again, that's a recipe for success, but it also means that you don't back yourself enough. You don't believe in yourself. So everybody has that. I have that in lots of areas. You know, I didn't have it necessarily in rugby because I put the work in to be there, and I knew that I could rely on the work. But did it mean that I believed in myself? No. Did I think that I was the best? No. Did I have a lot of self-doubt and focus on negativity? Yes. It didn't mean that I didn't think I should be there, but I just probably didn't back myself as much as I should have done, which meant that you play inside yourself a little bit. You maybe shirk, you know, the limelight. You know, maybe you don't go for that ball in the game. Maybe there was an opportunity to do something. You just don't want to make a mistake. So not making a mistake means you don't do anything. Whereas you've got to have that thing in life of like, everyone makes mistakes. The game wouldn't flow without mistakes. Life wouldn't flow without mistakes. You know, you just need to give it your all. And that's what, towards the end of my career, I eventually got to.